What's good, everybody? Give me 1 second. All right. Welcome again to another stream and another edition to the Chaos Rain channel. I am Chaos Rain, as y'all know. And now this is now what I like to call season 2, or now, Chaos Rain year 2 now. Because we concluded last year, as y'all know, and I did a stream, I believe, a week ago, maybe 2. But now this is the official second season, I like to call. And in this one, it's gonna be maybe a little bit different how I do the live streams. So the set date I have not set yet, but in the coming week or 2, I'll let you know how often I will go live. I'm trying to push at least on the average 2 to 3 lives a week at most. But if not, I try to keep the 2 live streams, and other forms of podcasting moving forward. I'd like to welcome everybody that's into the chat room or listening through podcasts or any other outlets. I think I could also share this also. And also, if y'all watching or hearing, please share this on your social media. I want to mind if y'all share it on the Facebooks, the Twitter, any outlets that social media related. Please share this. I think tonight I'm gonna play a audio clip of a particular I think it's a video, but I think I'm gonna give my own take on this, and it's gonna reiterate what I always proclaimed and said last year in regards to children and the mothers, if they like to take on this single mother journey with their daughters and especially their sons. And most likely, since I'm a man, we're going to focus on the boys for now because I think the boys need a little bit more attention than the girls for now. The girls are pretty good at this point, in regards, I believe education and some other things. And good evening to you, Rain Woman. If you don't mind, Rain Woman, let me put this in the chat room. And if you could probably post it if you're staying watching. Okay. All right. 1 second, people, as I let everybody come in. Oh, hold on. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Let me open up one more window so I'm seeing what I'm doing, and then we could start. Okay. I see everything now. Good. Okay. So this is what I will play. Let me find it. I gotta find the audio. I'm gonna find out, people, so give me 1 second. Let me think. How let me do this. Yeah, this is what I'll do. I'm gonna go back. Where is it? What I'm about to play, and this was broadcast, I believe. Um, Let me find the year. Actually, this is recent, and this might prove a much bigger scenario in regards to how we deal with our children moving forward, especially if we're engaged in these relationships, if we're not marrying them, or whatever case may be, you have a falling out with your baby mama or you have a falling out with your baby daddy. This is one thing that it caught my attention earlier of today. So I'm gonna play the audio of this short skid. And this right here is dealing with the child support issue, or what the man has done to really fulfill his obligations. So if anybody in this chat room, if you can't hear it, let me know as I play it now.
So, marriage and divorce and kids and child support, that's a central theme throughout a lot of your comedy routine.
It's been in my life since I have been having a very hard relationship with women, from my mother all the way down to the women in my life. If I look at any times that I can look at the pain, the common denominator is me and a woman.
Well, you said that you love your kids to death. You just wish that their mamas were different.
Yeah, I just wanted the woman of my dream to be the mother of my kids. They're great mothers. What I meant by that was I was not the man of their dreams. They have told me that many a times.
Okay.
And nor were they the woman of my dreams. We was two people that fell in love and found out we was all right, but we wasn't right. And in that process of coming to that conclusion, wasn't right, and they wasn't right, but we was all right, we made a permanent bond.
A baby.
Right. And I always dreamed that the woman of my dream would be the mother of my kid, not somebody that we was just all right with. So that's the essence of the joke. That's why I always never understand why I don't know about no other men's baby mother, but why minds are so angry with me. It was just we both agreed that we wasn't right for each other. So where's the hurt from? Where's the distance from? We co-parent and just appreciate the great thing that we did together, which we have great kids, and live on that and move on with our lives.
Well, your ex-wife, Robin Goings,
yes,
she actually did an interview on Comedy Hype.
Yes.
You saw it?
Oh, yes, I did. I posted it on my site.
Oh, you actually posted it yourself?
Yeah,
okay.
Because my attitude was, I never watched it, but I posted because I didn't have to watch because I know what happened. And me and her has a different philosophy of what my responsibility to her is. And mine is, once I divorced you, my only responsibility is to take care of my son and not take care of you. Your situation and your independence and your survival, you're responsible for, not me.
Well, I had Darius McCrary on my show recently, and he's had his own issues with baby mothers and women in general. He dated Corinne Steffens at one point, which had a whole set of interesting events to go along with it. But he said something interesting. He said child support is meant for kids, not a failed relationship.
It's a cold-blooded hustle, man. Child support is for child to support the child, not failed relationships. And we've just witnessed how fathers have been moved out of the house since the welfare system. I was a producer on a documentary called "Where Are All the Fathers?" Where are all the fathers? And now we're in a society now where it's very difficult for a man to be a man.
But when you become to a one percenter, the money that you give, some women use that money for their standard of living. And that's where there's a disconnect, because it ain't your standard of living. And I just want the record to show, every financial responsibility for my children, I take on that. None of my mothers of my kids has never been a financial liability to them. When it's come to financial, I'm the only parent. When it comes to any other decision, we co-parent. But when it comes to their financial needs with anyone, from cars, school, relocation, family trips, I bear that responsibility and I welcome it. But when they turn 18, me and my child has that report of that financial responsibility, and I don't need a moderator to send it to any of them for you to distribute that money to my child.
Well, in the interview, she said because you had paid off your child support a little bit early, that you was about to be homeless along with your son.
Well, her being homeless is not. The reason why I paid it off early, because I'm an independent contract, as of you.
Yep.
You don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
You have a young lady, which she is, and you know that if I mess around and get sick, I will not make money to pay her. So my thing is, let me put some extra to it so I build up some working capital. So in case I get sick, I have payments I already paid. Thanks to the good Lord, I never got sick. So those 15 years of extra payments accumulated to 6 months early of me paying. So I say a joke. My son is 17, but in child support years, he's 18.
Right.
So if women want a man to pay the arrears for the money she didn't get, then if you've been paid overages, you can't keep that too. You can't have it both ways. And if you spent it, and because you spent it, now it results in you not able to sustain your standard of living, how is it my fault?
I'm on your side, man.
How is it my fault? How am I making you homeless? Because I fulfilled my legal obligation to you, who you sent me to court. You took me to child support. They set the parameters in the prison. Personally, I would have gave you more had you came and talked to me. But you from a third order portray here and said, I don't trust him. Y'all tell us that you brought this man in here. And he said, this is how much I have to pay. I honored it and took it on everything. I paid my son everything. His personal, his private school, his Cadillac truck he has, his tuitions that he's going now for college. He lives in the room with him in Calabasas where I got the house for him. Everything financially has to do with my kid on. Now the money that I give to you that's supposed to be for him now is causing you financial hardship. And do you call me and say this is that? I didn't hear from him. I heard the video. And for Comedy Hype, which they say in the interview that I'm the motivation for them having this site, they have never interviewed me like you interviewed me. But you interviewed my ex-wife?
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of saw through that. At the end of the day, the child support is made for the child. It's not designed for you not to work. It's child support. It's not adult support.
It's been that mixture has been going on for years. And a woman can easily, and this is a stigma that goes along with being a black male. It's easy for her to say he's a bad father. You can just sit there. I mean, just like police say, man, I threatened, I feared for my life, and people just accepted it was right to kill him. He's not a good father. He don't kill his father, and just people just believe it.
Right, especially being an entertainer,
Yes.
The whole stigma associated with that.
Yes.
Oh, he just had a bunch of kids. He don't take care of none of them. Yeah.
Yes, it just is. And anybody that knows me, that's the greatest accomplishment I have ever done in my life. I have 2 daughters and 1 son. And that's the best thing I have ever done in my life is my kids. And I take on that responsibility because I know how it feels not to have a father.
You know, since I've listened to it one time and this is not a second time, for those who's listening, I'm gonna replay that one more time so it sinks in a little bit, just a little bit. No, so don't mind me, people. I gotta run this one more time.
So,
and then after that, I'm probably get my take in the discussion of this topic.
Marriage and divorce and kids and child support, that's a central theme throughout a lot of your comedy routine.
It's been in my life since I have been having a very hard relationship with women. From my mother all the way down to the women in my life. If I look at any times that I can look at the pain, the common denominator is me and a woman.
Hold on a second, people.
Yeah, I just wanted the woman of my dream to be the mother of my kids. They're great mothers. What I meant by that was I was not the man of their dreams. They could have told me that many a times.
Okay.
And know what I was, know what they, the woman of my dreams. We was two people that fell in love and found out we was all right, but we wasn't right. And in that process of coming to that conclusion that I wasn't right and they wasn't right, but we was all right, we made a permanent bond.
A baby.
Right.
Right.
And I always dreamed that the woman of my dream would be the mother of my kid, not somebody that we was just all right with. So that's the essence of the joke. That's why I always never understand why I don't know about no other men's baby mother, but why minds are so angry with me when we both agreed that we wasn't right for each other. So where's the hurt from? Where's the distance from? We co-parent and just appreciate the great thing that we did together, which we have great kids, and live on that and move on with our lives.
Well, your ex-wife, Robin Goings,
Yes.
she actually did an interview on Comedy Hype.
Yes.
You saw it?
Oh, yes, I did. I posted it on my site.
Oh, you actually posted it yourself?
Yeah, because my attitude was, I never watched it, but I posted because I didn't have to watch it because I know what happened. And me and her has a different philosophy of what my responsibility to her is. And mine is once I divorced you, my only responsibility is to take care of my son and not take care of you. Your situation and your independence and your survival, you're responsible for, not me.
Well, I had Darius McCrary on my show recently,
Mm-hmm.
and he's had his own issues with baby mothers and
Mm-hmm.
women in general. He dated Corinne Steffens at one point, which had a whole set of interesting events to go along with it. But he said something interesting. He said child support is meant for kids, not a failed relationship.
It's a cold-blooded hustle, man. Child support is for to support the child, not failed relationships. And we've just witnessed how fathers have been moved out of the house since the welfare system. I was a producer on a documentary called "Where Are All the Fathers?" Where are all the fathers? You know, and now we're in a society now where it's very difficult for a man to be a man.
But when you become to a one percenter, the money that you give, some women use that money for their standard of living. And that's where there's a disconnect, because it ain't your standard of living. And I just want the record to show, every financial responsibility for my children, I take on that. None of my mothers of my kids has never been a financial liability to them. When it's come to financial, I'm the only parent. When it comes to any other decision, we co-parent. But when it comes to their financial needs with anyone, from cars, school, relocation, family trips, I bear that responsibility and I welcome it. But when they turn 18, me and my child has that rapport of that financial responsibility, and I don't need a moderator to send it to any of them for you to distribute that money to my child.
Well, in the interview, she said because you had paid off your child support a little bit early, that she felt she was about to be homeless along with your son.
Well, her being homeless is not. The reason why I paid it off early, because I'm an independent contractor, as of you.
Yep.
You don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
You have a young lady, which she is, and you know that if I mess around and get sick, I will not make money to pay her. So my thing is, let me put some extra to it so I build up some working capital. So in case I get sick, I have payments I already paid. Thanks to the good Lord, I never got sick. So those 15 years of extra payments accumulated to 6 months early of me paying. So I say a joke, my son is 17, but in child support years, he's 18.
Right.
So if women want a man to pay the arrears for the money she didn't get, then if you've been paid overages, you can't keep that too. You can't have it both ways. And if you spent it, and because you spent it, now it results in you not able to sustain your standard of living, how is it my fault?
I'm on your side, man.
How is it my fault? How am I making you homeless? Because I fulfilled my legal obligation to you, who you sent me to court. You took me to child support. They set the parameters in the prison. Personally, I would have gave you more had you came and talked to me. But you sprung a third order portray in here and said, I don't trust him. Y'all tell us that you brought this man in here. And he said, this is how much I have to pay. I honored it and took it on everything. I paid my son everything, his personal, his private school, his Cadillac truck his tuitions that he's going now for college. He lives in the room with him in Calabasas where I got the house for him. Everything financially has to do with my kid on. Now the money that I give to you that's supposed to be for him now is causing you financial hardship. And do you call me and say this is that? I didn't hear from him. I heard the video. And for Comedy Hype, which they say in the interview that I'm the motivation for them having this site, they have never interviewed me like you interviewed me. But you interviewed my ex-wife?
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of saw through that. At the end of the day, the child support is made for the child. It's not designed for you not to work. It's child support. It's not adult support.
It's been that mixture has been going on for years. And a woman can easily, and this is a stigma that goes along with being a black male. It's easy for her to say he's a bad father. You can just sit there. I mean, just like police say, man, I threatened, I feared for my life. and people just accepted it was right to kill him. He's not a good father. He don't kill his father, and just people just believe it.
Right, especially being an entertainer,
Yes.
the whole stigma associated with that.
Yes.
Oh, he just had a bunch of kids. He don't take care of none of them. Yeah.
Yes, it just is. And anybody that knows me that's the greatest accomplishment I have ever done in my life. I have 2 daughters and 1 son. And that's the best thing I have ever done in my life is my kids. And I take on that responsibility because I know how it feels not to have a father.
And that's the end of that. Before I say something, do you want to chime in briefly on this, Charles, or you want to hold off a little bit?
I'm going to say this. Look, black men for generations have been guilted into being good fathers, when in fact, we are good fathers. Child support is not an indicator of how you raise your children. If anything, it's just something to use against you and to guilt you. See, a lot of people want to use child support as the end all be all. So, what's going on here is a case of, look, if you really gave a damn about the fathers, you would really pick carefully who you would lay down with. But to tell women that in 2020 is what? Sacrilegious.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these women will guilt you. Not all, but too damn many.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is this. I don't understand why. If I need support from somebody to take care of a child, why not give that individual who's giving the money the child? Women will come up with all these fucking fixtures. Well, he wasn't a good father. No, a lot of times what you tell your kids is that your father doesn't love you. No, your father doesn't love you, but he would rather have the child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Instead of actually telling the truth about the situation and being blunt honest. Am I a real friend to this person? Am I being an honest person to this person? What was my purpose? Am I looking for a father, or I'm looking a way out of my situation with my child?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the update?
Oh, this was broadcast just recently, like a few days ago, on another I guess what's the name? That Caucasoid, that DJ that all them black celebrities go to. Forgot his name again. But that's the story. Yeah, hello?
Who's not a DJ Vlad, who's not really a DJ?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. So, and mind you, I hear enough stories, a lot of men about the issues with the system and support, especially child support. I get it. And, some men uphold their deal, the obligation of it. But when the issue is where the money's going, yeah, that's a problem, And remember, he says he's like a 1%er. So, I mean, he makes like a good money, because he's a comedian, he probably does other things on the side. Yeah. To find that, and I get it, because most women, if you're not married to this man, and to be fair, women, you gotta understand this. Once you're in marriage, then it's something more bigger. But if you're just co-parent and you have a kid, and now you're fighting between you and your baby father about what obligation he should have towards his children, and you're seeking a piece of that. I mean, you get what you deserve. This is the same situation with Nas' other baby mama years ago, when he was finished paying off his daughter. I think he had a daughter, a 24-year-old daughter now, of paying all the obligations, his role as a father, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny, they said that she's now destitute, a bum, and she's on the streets now. And a lot of people try to shame Nas into giving her some change in it because it's his baby mama. But me come across this video right here, and I agree with not only Darius McCoy, but also this dude, that this should be only obligation for your child. Your child should be good, number one, first, before anything else. Why would you take the money and do something different with it? I don't get that. You know,
Because there is no requirement made by the court of seeing how you spend that money. A lot of ratchets will come out there and say, if I pay the bills, this is money owed to me, I can buy wine. No. Why not have a card where both parents pay, right? And you can only use it on the child. Schooling, child activities, take them to the park, the zoo.
medical care, all that.
It has to be on the child.
Yeah.
None of that. Oh well, if I pay for gas, nah, bitch, nah, nigga, you pay for your shit out your pocket, because guess what? How do we know if that's really for your child or for you to go out with either parent? Uniforms, shit the child really needs directly. Because guess what? You gonna pay for your gas whether you had a child or not. Okay, well, I dare somebody debate me on that bullshit. Yeah. Because the problem is this: we spend too much time thinking that child support. See, this is the mindset of the modern feminist woman. If you're not a feminist, I'm not talking to you. So if you're butthurt about being a feminist, then if you're butthurt about what I'm saying, then guess what? You're probably a fucking feminist anyway. Or you're probably one of those guys who kiss ass of women and not being honest to women and loving them truly how they're supposed to be. Instead of being accountable for both parents and holding them draw, you want to use child support as a means to attack men to being subservient to women. As Hall and Oates said, I can't go for that. No can do. Instead of actually being fair down the line with men, I just don't see it. You can get a guy who makes more money, has a better stable life, but you give custody to a chick who's less stable, less money. I just don't see it. That's how you know the system's fucked. Yeah. And then the only thing you're going to tell men, well, you should have picked a better woman. You should have seen it. But no, you don't tell that to the chicks, do you? Nope. You have more child support. You encourage it because y'all don't really want husbands. Y'all just want the kids. If those kids didn't have benefits, them kids would be in a fucking dumpster. And giving a kid, and guess what? Y'all a lot of them use these kids for weapons. And then wonder why your children, when they become adult age, they hate your guts. Because you treated them like what they were, pawn.
Yeah. And for a disclaimer for all the ladies that we listen to, for the women that, let's say, are married or have to co-parent with your mate, if your mate is fulfilling his obligation, not only the financial part, but also playing a role, and you allow it and you have no problem, kudos for it. I give y'all credit. I appreciate y'all, the ones that do. This message is the ones that is not doing that and using it for some more sinister means, for not only to hurt the child, but also to get back at their baby daddy or husband or wherever they have disdainful hate for, to use their child for something more than it is. Yes.
It's despicable. Just like I would tell a man, should not disrespect the woman who does not want it. If it's not warranted, you should disrespect like a woman doesn't mean, if a woman's agreed and she's doing everything, fulfilling her womanly duties, you respect and cherish that woman. But you don't disrespect that man. But if you disrespecting that man and he's trying to be a great father to that child, your relationship with him is over. That relationship with his child is everlasting. That's why I said, you know what, men need to come together, grab their nuts, go down to fucking Capitol Hill, and reform a lot of this bullshit.
Yeah, it's well needed, man, because, and for those men that are afraid of competing and trying to reform some things, this ain't for y'all. So y'all know that right now, because I know most of y'all are scared to really go face that greater beast that's putting these policies to put you under. There's no excuse. because they are going to use, like I said, these policies and the system which they so control against you, you know, when it comes to you and your child, you know. And I know a few men have been victorious. I'm talking to them right now, Charles Faulkner. I know Jay Shine and some other brothers that fought for the kids, especially the boys, and they're right now in custody with them, you know, fulfilling their even greater obligations. And if you remember, Charles, from recent stream, I'm gonna keep reiterating this constant times. When I asked this question, ladies, will you give your sons to the father? I did get pushback, you know. I got even a greater pushback when one particular woman called me personally and asked me so a lot of these personal questions. Like I should even have that conversation. And it bothered me a little bit. Not much, but it just bothered me. You know, that saying that what is the excuse? And I wish Daniel and Concrete was here, but that's another story. Cause they kind of had another discussion on this with other when men brought up the same question that I brought up months ago. Can you imagine that?
Uh-huh.
And mind you, as a man, I don't have no problem if a man has sit there and said, I want my son. Since you can't really deal with him once he gets older, let me take the bulk of the responsibility. A woman should be honored that a man is willing to step up and say, let me deal with him. Why you ladies fight that? I just don't get that. I mean, I know that you might get some incentive, but is that the real price you're going to want to pay for your son's sanity, his integrity, his mental and his development as a young man growing as a young adult? Do you really want to risk that? That's my biggest question I should ask.
I think it's because of selfishness.
Mm-hmm.
It's the me, whatever the fuck I feel like doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So me. It's only what I feel, only what I care, only because. Like, I'm just so sick of it that our children are losing only because you got a few people who just have some despicable shit. Look, if you didn't want the kids, use birth control.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, to say that, you're a son of a bitch and a bastard. To say that, you're all kinds of evil shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yet, we don't think about with the trauma that we go through when it comes to those little babies, those boys and girls that need their father. Do we?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We treat the children as if they're backwater.
Mm-hmm.
We treat the children as if they're fodder.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm gonna say is, these kids deserve an equal shot, especially kids who already have the 8 ball behind them because they're black children.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do better as parents and actually really have set out goals for our children. At some point, we need to stop and actually take consideration for all these little babies we have out here.
Mm-hmm. 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 And another thing, to those that not only for ladies that, you know, we always got, and let me say this. We always wonder that, you know, we try and give our children the best possible way to come up in this so-called life, especially this world, this Western world. And let's say you deal with a man that is providing good. Now, mind you, I'm only speaking to ladies that's dealing with money. Wouldn't it make sense if he's fulfilling some obligation to give him this, let's say child support, monthly, wherever he has to pay? Okay. would it make sense if you are working or not? That wouldn't it be better to start saving, not much, but just saving like $20, $30, whatever, a week out of your check, or take partial of whatever he brings into child support and take your portion and just put it aside in a special trust so it grows over time. Where if your child decides to go to college or it wants to do something much more bigger, you have the necessary funds necessary to give your son or daughter, depending on how many you have, they need to fill whatever dream or obligation they're trying to pursue. Wouldn't that be much greater, better than have them start fresh or start over, or put them in a position where they could be in financial stranglehold, which we call debt? Wouldn't that make better sense? Because if you think about it, most kids, either if they go for pursue a higher education, they don't have the funds to really fulfill what they're trying to accomplish. They can't get no loan on the average on a bank, like that. So the second best thing as the parents, or father or mother or whatever, it is your self duty to make sure your children not only come out and get a head start or come out decent as well, but give them an extra leg up so they don't have to start from behind the 8 ball. Doesn't that sound good, Charles Faulkner? Yeah. So, like I said before, these things we have to really think about, But to go further into this, the question is really asked. And the question is, are men obligated to take care of their child's or their children's mother? And I would say, to be honest with you, if you're not married, the man that you're dealing with, you sleep, you procreate, you fuck, he's not obligated for nothing to you besides the children that you push out forth. It is so for doing make sure his children are all right or decent or in good shape. But besides giving you that extra check just to lavish your comfort or your whatever lifestyle you are as a woman, no, that's not his obligation at all. I'm sorry, ladies. I know you're not gonna like this message, but I'm so believe that's not the man's obligation, especially if he's not married to you. And I mean, if you're in a marriage, that's a different situation. And he has not only obligate to you, but also the babies, because the family is one.
Yeah. Would you like Charles Faulkner answer to that?
Yeah. I don't know if you heard me earlier, but go ahead, answer.
Charles Faulkner answer that. Are you required to take care of your child's mother? Fuck no.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't want to get married, don't she reneged on all the benefits?
Mm-hmm. And mind you, I'm not against marriage. See, one thing I want your ladies to hear me good and learn well. I advocate most black men, there has to be one point in life to really settle down with that one woman that you could trust, and she's going to go the full length to make sure you fulfill your roles and your not only your mission that you should be fulfilling, right, but to help further it, just like he will help further you. But other than that, if it's not anything beyond that, then you just co-parent and taking these little risks is on you, sisters. Just like it's on the man when he doesn't tie knot with that woman and she is disgruntled. You got bite the bird and whichever she's going to fling at you. So we know we get ourselves into as people. We're not stupid. We don't play these games. I'm a man. I expect better, not only for myself, but other men and women, especially men that I at least talk to. They expect somewhat better from me. So no doubt I expect better from them as well. This is actual accountability and responsibility. You're going to hear from not only me, Chaos, but other men like Charles Ford, any other men that I have around, at least. And including Mary, I'm married too. Oh, and I have somebody up on the panel. Bringing her up. Welcome, reigning woman. Good evening.
Hi, good late evening, Chaos Rain and Charles Faulkner, and to everyone, to the listeners and the chat room. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you clear.
Okay, so I just want to say a couple of things. Like, first of all, when I tell you I have zero respect for women who use children as traps and as pawns. And I have zero respect for women who use money that is supposed to be used towards the children and the needs of the children for their own personal gains and their own personal use and for their livelihood and to support their lifestyle. That is not what child support is for. And if you renege on the opportunity to be married to your children's father, you renege on support. And you have to just deal with the consequences and you have to deal with whatever is afforded to you because of your reneging. And it's trifling. It's just downright trifling. And these are old tricks. These things that are happening when it comes to like these kind of issues did not rise because of feminism. These are old tricks of the trade before feminism even entered, before the feminist movement even entered the realm. So it's nothing, this is definitely nothing new under the sun. And unfortunately, my sister's trying to call me now. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm on mute, I apologize, but I must take my sister's call.
Yeah. Take it. I'm still here. Go ahead. Do you have to? Yes. See, and like I said, you renege all that once you're not even in a marriage. And see, she proved my point, and it proved my point what I was saying earlier. And Charles, you agree with me same way. If you're co-parent or you're doing that shacking up, whatever you want to call it, that you put yourself at risk as a woman. You know? And like I said, there is no really come up today on a child support in today's age. Some people say it is, but it's not. I'm sorry. You know, especially if you depend which man you're dealing with. Yeah, you might get maybe 100, maybe hell, even $1,000, which I'm hearing now. But really, if you are financially irresponsible as a woman already, and you have kids, obviously you're not going to really think of the best interest what the children need. So that's why when they send for you to go to court with her, and you've seen it enough times. I think Charles, from your experience, the friends that you know that dealt with the same problem, and not do that want to put himself or want to go straight to court with his baby mom or whatever, is always women sending him to come to court just to go in front of a judge, which is pretty much maybe a non-black person, maybe a white woman most likely, to hear the problems of this bad, nasty man here that's so evil and making my life hard, and he won't do nothing for my child. So I need some money from this poor man. Just can you tell him to pay for it? I need, and then all them sobbing tears, and the Jew and looks at her and say, "I know what you're going through. So yes, I'm gonna obligate and make this bad man pay everything to you." See how that goes? How that works? Yeah. I hear echo. Yeah. Is that me?
It's me, I'm back, Chaos
Okay.
Rain.
Yeah.
So I kind of forget where I left off.
You were saying that once you got married, is that my YouTube? Hold on, let me check my YouTube. It's echoing. I never did that before. Hold on.
It might be my office.
Okay, all right. Keep talking. Yeah, you were talking about
So,
renege.
so when I'm not talking, I will mute myself because it may be the echo
No,
coming from my office.
let's talk. It'll go away. But like I said, you were saying something about renege responsibilities once you're not married. That's what we said last time. It's not supposed
Yeah,
to be.
if the woman chooses to not, if she's offered the ring and the marriage and she declines, then she reneges on the obligations that was afforded to her. So whatever consequences and whatever she is rewarded at that time or awarded at that time, you know, she just kind of has to take it and deal with it. But I think a lot of times, and this is a conversation that we need to have more with our women
Mm-hmm.
and our younger women, you know, not that children are not also, they're not dolls, they're not toys, and they are costly. Children are time consumers. They have a lot of needs,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of needs. And oh my goodness. And even for the men, even for young men, younger boys, you know, once the hormones begin to, you know, start rising, um, and they're experimenting with their sexuality and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
is they also too need to be told about the responsibility of children, the cost of children, the cost of their lifestyles, and that they too are not dolls. Because believe it or not, there are a lot of boys or immature males who don't really understand, don't really grasp the responsibility of fatherhood either. And the way that you can tell that sometimes is the way that even when a boy is in the custody, even if it's temporary, like if when he's in the care of the father, and the father is just, you know, wants to show him off because how cute he's dressed, you know, because he has on the Nikes. He's, you know, he's not even 1 year old, and he has to have on
Mm-hmm.
the Nike booties. And things like that, you know, they're toddlers and they have to have like a designer hat and designer t-shirts. And it's like that might be cute now, but cute is costly. And
Yep.
and cute is just dressing him up, dressing her up. And there's so much more to parenthood than that. And that's why when you see children wanting to drop the kids off all the time and dump the kids at the grandparents' house or with the aunt and the uncle who is barely adults themselves or even still children themselves, teenagers, you know, and they want to dump them off on them so they go hang out or whatever with the expectation that they are entitled to that because of the relationship. And that is also a false sense of entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these can be some hard conversations to have, but they are some very necessary conversations. When I was in school, I don't, because I'm not sure what they do now, but when I was in school, we had the egg test where you had to take an egg home. We had to, you didn't pick the father, you didn't pick the mother. They paired you up by pulling names in hats. And that's who you were partnered with to parent a child together with an
Okay.
egg. And taking care of the egg was like taking care of the child. So you had to talk about diapers and you had to talk about feeding and babysitters and if you can hang out and like all of that. I don't know if they still do that, but I haven't heard of that act being done in a while. So I'm not sure if they still do that. But I can tell you that that definitely helped
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us.
Yeah.
My mama was
You-
not one. She was not babysitting no egg. Okay, my mother was not here for the egg.
No, but if you think about Rain Woman, and now that you mention that, it's a good. 'Cause I remember back in certain time, because you left high school long time ago. When I was in high school, I never come across no little egg tests like that. Well, let me think. All right, did I? That's been a long time. I might have, but I can't recall. But that's a very good test because one thing with an egg, people don't understand is how disciplined you are to maintain it without breaking it. Because the egg is very soft, just like a baby. You can't just be rough with it. You got to cherish it. Be soft with it, just like a baby.
Exactly.
It's an excellent test if you think about it. And everybody in this chat room, if they can recall, if they ever had the egg test back in high school, don't be afraid. Please give me a notification, on the chat if you have. But continue, Rainy Woman.
I just really want to hone in on the sense of entitlement that some females feel because they have a child with someone, that the money, the funds that are rendered to them to support the child and the needs of the child, feeling like that is something for them to live off of, is just like, no, it is not. I really want to try to hammer that point in. And I know that, or I'm gonna say I feel like a lot of the programs that we see now and a lot of things that we see in mainstream media, even with social media and these streams like World Star Hip Hop, which by the way I hate. I loathe these reality TV shows where people are just supporting and promoting and displaying total dysfunction and total chaos. And I loathe channels like and media platforms like World Star Hip Hop. I think they're just utterly detestable. I just can't. I can't. I don't even have the words to describe my degree of aberration for them.
Yeah.
But I believe these channels and these medias really push these types of this form of entitlement, sense of entitlement, a false sense of entitlement, and continues to push and support these false expectations on people. That just continues to perpetuate the dysfunction. And then it just becomes a continuous vicious cycle, a continual vicious cycle that is hard to get off of. And I'm telling you, I just wanted to just come on and say that because it balls my butt. It does, it stings me. Because it is damaging to everyone. It's damaging to the child. It's unfair. It's unfair to the child. It's unfair to the parent, be the man and the woman, male and female. It's unfair to the parents, the grandparents. It's unfair to the siblings. It's unfair to society because everyone is affected by this triflingness.
And to be fair, I don't really watch TV like that much no more, like I used to. So now, because we now use the internet now for more of our television needs, that the same program is still being pushed in a much more effective way now, because now people understand we control what we consume now with the internet. Unlike with basic cable and all that stuff where you pay and they give you like 1,000 different channels. They give you that, but unlike the internet, you're more selected, have more control. So they already know where people's mind state at by giving this freedom option to select what to watch, what to consume. And it's easy now to say, okay, this is what you like. So what they're gonna do now, Rainbow, they're gonna push more of that message like that. Because it's now predictable now.
Right, you're right.
Oh wait, somebody wrote something in the chat room. I would say it's up to him if he wants to take care of his baby mother. Yeah, yeah, you could say that. The one thing with the father and the baby mama, and it goes back again how tight you are relationship wise with your mate. Because let's say he has an obligation to pay whatever is fulfilled every month to the child, right? Now, if you as a woman and you're on your A game and you're doing some keep it up as a woman, you could ask your baby father a little something just to help with something, But and also you should always make sure your child is covered first. Everything else that you need, you could ask him, and if he could give you, he'll give it to you. If he can't, he can't. It should be a decision he should make if you need something. It should not be obligated because he pays this child support a weekly, monthly. That money should be solely given to you first, then the child second. No, that's not how it works. And I think, like I said, the system has to be reformed. Somebody want to say something? I hear something in the background.
Yeah, not only that, but children also have emergencies a lot. Children they have ear infections, they get throat infections, they get diarrhea, they catch fevers, and a lot of times they need not only attention, but they need medical assistance. And for the most part, from what I know, if a man has a child, if he's paying child support, he usually also has the child on his medical. So he's also paying for that medical for the copay, right?
Yes.
And he's also paying for the insurance up front. But it costs every time we have to take your child for a checkup, every time we have to take your child up to the doctor for an emergency, it costs. And it's just like life. Like life doesn't ask you, is this a good time for an emergency to happen? Like, is it a good time for you to lose a tire today? Is it a good time for you to get fired today? Is it, it doesn't ask you this. So it doesn't ask you, is it a good time for the baby to catch a fever, an uncontrollable fever? Is it a good time? No. So even if you have anything left over, a woman should definitely put some money aside consistently for emergency.
Yeah.
Even if you're getting child support, and even if you are in a good relationship, a healthy communication with your children's father, don't make it even harder for them. Don't make it even more distressing. Be someone that tries to still add some ease, some comfort in the care. So put something aside, prepare for emergencies so that you're not having to always run back to him and tell him, oh, I had to take him to the doctor today last week, and that was an extra $110. They say we need $110 to pay this off. No, those kind of things also aid in the buildup of resentment towards you. And if he has a caring mother, if he has caring women around him in his family, a resentment towards you. Because you're becoming a pain.
Yeah.
You're becoming a pain.
Yeah. I agree.
That's all I have to say for now. Thank you for doing this. I'm going to go ahead and drop off. Thank you, Chaos Rain.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate Rain for coming up, giving a woman's perspective on this. I don't mind being the only man up here, but it's always good to find someone that either agree or disagree. I have no shame in that. Yes, that's Rain Woman. Like always, people, find her on YouTube or any other outlets. Subscribe to her channel. She has a lot of good things, good topics. Yes. So, like I said, and I don't know, and I will say this again, that you're as a man's obligations to his child. If you're not in no serious relationship where you are a ring is secured in this outcome, then obviously by default you are, the man's not obligated for nothing to do with you. To be fair, to keep 100. And it's much more bigger than just the celebrities that most people that really follow the same issues. This goes across the board in regards to us people, especially us black men. You know, the ones that's in the actual relationship that's married, you know, you don't have these problems. But if you're just a woman that just want to shack up, co-parent, and all that stuff, which is cool, nice, and dandy, but like I said, if things go south with you and that mate, the only thing you could really tie with that dude, and it is, you know, maybe child support. But on that, he's not obligated to pay your bills, to all this other extra. That's goofy. That's stupidness. And I agree with Earthquake and Darius McCoy. You know, I think when I find these scenarios, and it goes for the same thing with Dwayne Wade's first wife was married. After they divorced, and one thing Dwayne has done, and I had no problem with what he did, was he wanted to take full custody of his two sons. And he's in his right to do that, because really truly, for her to sit there and then just ask for, like, you know, some little child support, wherever he might pay, it's not gonna fulfill the actual requirements that he sees for his boys need. So like any man, and I wish most men, black men, do this more often, if you do have the sons, once they reach a certain age, or wherever the case may be, you should step up and take the full custody and responsibility to groom and raise your sons to the image and what you want to see fit. You should not leave that sole responsibility for the woman. And I hope y'all get and understand me well on this. You should not give that responsibility for her. Because these boys will grow to men, and we don't want to see more docile, effeminized, or whatever you want to call boys that become men, or boys that are men that have emotional issues, have all these so-called traits, characteristics like their mother. To avoid it, or I should say to eliminate that, you're going to have to step up, boy, or step up, bro, and take full custody and groom your child to way how you want to see fit. There's no other way around it, brothers. There's no way around it. So we could sit and complain all day, every day about child support as men, but really and truly, what we're gonna really do about it as men should be the biggest question. Because I could sit here all day and then chastise the women all day if I want, but that's not gonna fix the problem. That's not gonna solve the problem. Unfortunately, it will not. We all know what the women are gonna do. They're gonna keep ciphering and sucking up whatever the system gives them. Just like consumers. This is what you expect. The only thing you could do at the end of the day is uphold your obligations and go as far as protect yourself and step up in regards to taking care of your own seeds. You have to do it. You got to do it. There's no way around it. I wish there was some magical spell that could probably wash this away, wish it away, but that ain't gonna happen, brothers. If you think about it, most of the things that hurt a lot of non-white men in this country is the policies. Besides the average non-black men that deals with the policies, and right now these other races of men, especially ones that are, you know, trying to deal with the systems and push back some of these laws, some no-fault divorce or whatever you want to call it, hurts them in the long run. I'm only seeing them being organized. It's going to come to a point when is the melanated man, the carbon man, the black man, or you want to call it, going to step into that play and say, we got to fight these policies. It should be shameful to find that Darius McCoy had to do a documentary on this to find the real realities of this. Oh, okay. Hold on. Yes, go ahead.
I apologize, Chaos Spring, but I wanted to say something else too. I had one more thing I wanted to say.
Go ahead.
When you become a parent, no matter how old you are, whether you are a teenager, whether you are a preteen, or whether you are a young adult, or whether you are an adult of mature age. Once you become a parent, you have given up, you have relinquished your right to live as an individual. Your priority is not you. Your priority is your child. And it would behoove you as females, it really would behoove you, meaning it would really be to your best interest to not have children before you are married. Period. Trying to make it work with someone who actually wants to have a family. Now, there are no guarantees in life. None. There are zero guarantees. So just because you do get married, even at a young age or an older age, just because you do get married and you're married to someone who wants to have a family, there is no guarantee that that family structure will be held together, that it will stand all tests of time. But at least you want to say that you at least gave it all you had. You gave it a fair chance and a fair shot. That's where you can still do what is in the best interest of everyone involved. Everyone. The child, the father, the mother, everyone. Okay, I think that's all. I think that's it. I'm gonna fall off again. Thank you.
One thing before you fall off, and I always harp on this with a lot of men too, that as they get older, they have to understand that, you playing this co-parent nonsense with your mate, and you put yourself at risk as well, brothers. One thing I hear that's going around with a lot of men in these spaces is the issue that they're gonna be put under the state by child support. Like it's the least of their concern. You should always think bigger, say what you gonna do with the kids that you have, how you gonna groom them to be the best they can be as a father. How much of these discussions you leave too much responsibility for your baby mama, or like to call it, and you think that your child's gonna come out straight. And as you know, that is not the case with us as people today. So, like I said, brothers, if you're getting older and you think you're just gonna shack up and play this game, this co-parent thing, and think it's gonna be good for you, you are sadly mistaken. So I hope that most of our people, if they can really, it's like this. Before anything, waiting is much better. If you're going to practice or play with this thing we call sex, then like always, you go out to protect yourselves. I'm sorry, both the woman and the man. If you're not concerned about having children, but in that, y'all should not be even entertaining it. And then you have the children, and then think we're just going to, go our separate ways, and then it's nothing. No, now you have a bigger responsibility that you have to fulfill. Your child needs you, both of you. So make it work.
Absolutely. And another thing, okay, I apologize. I know I said that was all I had to say, but apparently that wasn't true. So I have something else to say.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to piggyback with what you said about protection. Is don't trust that the other person, when you're having sex as young people, don't trust that the other person, the male or the girl, or the boy or the girl, is taking care of the protection. Don't
Mhm.
trust that the girl being seen that she's on birth control. Don't trust that that is enough. Don't trust, ladies, don't trust that him saying he's going to wear a condom. Don't trust that that is enough. You know, children and having sex and having children grow you up. But they don't grow you up in a way of maturity. They grow you up in making you have to act like an adult and become an adult, whether you are ready for adulthood or not.
That's right.
And you only have a limited time, a very small amount of time to be a young person. Only a small amount of time. You have more time as an adult than what you have at being a child and being a young person. And it takes time to develop yourself into a woman and a man. It doesn't come just when you turn 18 or 17. It doesn't come just because you start experiencing how do we say? I'm just gonna be nice and say hormones, okay? Okay, the changes. That is your body preparing you, preparing itself for what is natural in mating. It is not, but it is not maturing you for parenthood and adulthood itself.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you really need to go ahead and really enjoy being young. Because let's say 18, let's say 21, 21 years of life is that's what you get for being young. It stops at 21. After that, we have higher expectations of you as a society. And
Mhm.
we have a higher expectation of you as a society, no matter what your background is, no matter how you got here, no matter why you got here, no matter what happened to you before you got here. When you turn 21, society as a whole has a higher expectation of you. And the expectations only increase year after year. So you have a lot of lessons, though, that you've got to begin to get between the time that you start smelling yourself and feeling yourself. Because when you turn like around 13, you kind of start feeling like you kind of know it all. You kind of want to just experience, your peers, and your peers kind of know more than what your parents do, because your parents and your grandparents, stuff like, they're out of date, right? These are the things that we say.
Mhm.
But even then, even at that age, while you're feeling yourself, society is already beginning to have some sort of an expectation of you through your parents.
Mhm.
And these expectations, once again, they only increase year after year. So this is the time for you to start getting some lessons. By the time you're 21, it's time to start putting some of these lessons, some of these hard knock lessons, whether you listen to your parents or not, into action.
Mhm. Yep. I
But a
agree.
lot of things that you feel as a young person, that a lot of things that you feel you need to go ahead and do and enjoy because you're turning 18 or you're turning 16 or you're turning 21. Like these things don't go anywhere. Like going out to the club. The clubs are always there. Hanging out at night. The streets do not turn off. The streets are available 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So there is no need to try to rush and get out into the street, stand on police at 16 and 18 and 19. No, trust me, they will be there when you turn 21 and 22 and 25. They will be there. They
Oh
ain't
yeah,
going nowhere.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I mean, people let time rush them by, but I say, it's how you utilize your time. Either it could be your greatest strength or your weakness. So take use of it wisely. Spend it wisely. That's my motive. That's my saying. Yeah, so I think I said my piece to this subject. I believe you have expressed your thoughts on this as well, Rain Woman. I'll probably end it right here, because I'm not gonna do a very lengthy podcast today. I think this amount of time should be good enough. But like always, I like to thank everybody for listening to tonight's stream. Please, like always, leave a comment at the end of this video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed to Chaos Marine Champ. Please don't be hesitant and wait. Hit that notification bell. As you know, notification bell has 3 options. Depending which option you pick, varies how often I put an upload or I go live. And like always, like this video as well. But none of that. Let's get us ready.